You either die the hero or see yourself become the villain. Seen too many dark nights and like the way you're living. It got me livid, the plot is vivid in the blast conditions. It's like you hopeless at the bar, get a shot to giving. Neighbors not complicit, I can't blame them though. Remember as a youngin', I rep Detroit on my favorite coat. For around the hood, the kind that was only made for snow. Mans caught me slipping, he tripping over a radio. I was running track with the homies, I didn't know what to say because I thought he was joking. Behind his back he held a gauge, he decided to show me. In the midst of broad day, all out in the open. I was only 13, but it's relevant to today. Put a price on life, but negligent in their ways. Forget a slippery slope, it's a precipice that you face. And the president set the precedent, evident by your faith. For that cream, living in that fairy tale American dream. Kill it when you walking with a gangster lean. Even though you know they go, they all it seems. What you mean, what you doing for that cream? Living in that fairy tale American dream. Kill it when you walking with that gangster lean. We in between those kings and queens. In the city of schemes.
In the city they scheme.
I can still remember Kwame, only thing that he taught me. City government's busted, causing a kamikaze. Crime waves like tsunamis, they say they serving that white. Chopping bricks like karate. What's the prices for your vices? The sacrifices that you lie with every night. And soldier sold to that rock, you Jimi Hendrix when your life ends. If you ask me, man, I couldn't do it. Unity and community barely move as a unit. Unless you talking in decimals, everybody will tune in. I never moved to that music, you never see me approve it. So sorry if I'm not to that standard, I'm goody two shoes. Pay expenses at someone's expense. Some families fiends, so how are they making they rent? Placing a bet for the rush of some luck, but it was something more like Russian roulette, and it got me upset. Living in that fairy tale American dream. Kill it when you walking with that gangster lean. Even though you know they go, they all it seems. What you mean, what you doing for that cream? Living in that fairy tale American dream. Kill it when you walking with that gangster lean. We in between those kings and queens in the city of schemes.
In the city they scheme.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is the El Niño podcast. I'm Eladio Niño, and this is Real Everyday People. I want to thank everybody that's tuning in, everybody that's been tapping in, everybody that's been sharing, subscribing, supporting, all that good stuff, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys. So I know I've been gone for a couple of weeks. I've been having a lot of good things, positive things going on, work-wise. So one of the weeks I missed was because, I got the opportunity to go to Indiana, and I went inside of Miami Correctional Facility. They had 2 homicides there recently, 2 gang-related homicides there. And so they chose members of Detroit Ceasefire to meet up with other organizations. That's when I met Boosie's little brother, Donk. Shout out to that brother. What's up with you? And to everybody else that showed up, you know what I'm saying, came from, South Carolina. People came from Chicago, from Detroit. Like, we had people coming from everywhere. And so they picked out 60 of the shot callers out there, 60 gang leaders. And so we had 6 circles, healing circles, and we had 10 members at each session. And we were just really building with them and trying to deter them from always utilizing violence as the first answer to any type of conflict. So we did pretty well. We were successful with that. And then last week, through the DHDC and the Skillman Foundation, they paid for me and one of my youth, Diego. Shout out to Diego Flores. We went out to Seattle, Washington, and we also went to Tacoma, Washington, for a convention from the Coalition of Juvenile Justice Reform. And so it was a blessing to be able to go out there and see life from a whole different angle. It was definitely a beautiful city. Seattle and Tacoma was very nice as well, but they have a lot of problems just like we do here in Detroit. Shout out to Coach Dom, and they have an organization out there like we have Ceasefire Detroit. They got a organization called Shots Fired. So shout out to everybody and all the organizations that we met out there that showed us love. And Detroit, we went out there, and we definitely made an impact and made a great impression on them by sharing our stories of our struggles. But those are just some of the things that have been going on in my life recently that have been keeping me consumed, busy. Honestly, I've just been struggling a little bit lately, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, because this work is not easy. The work that I do, at the DHDC, the work that I do with Ceasefire, dealing with youth, family, and all the problems of the communities and beyond. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not easy to carry the people's burdens, and also it triggers a lot of trauma. I've had a very traumatic life. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I was 10 years old, I got I got admitted into a child mental facility. It was called Aurora Hospital. It was over on Martin Luther King and Lawton. And then, at 15 years old, I got caught with a bunch of guns when I lived in River Rouge and went to the juvenile system. By the time I was 22, I was already, on my way to prison and spent the half of my life there. So, I've just been part of the system, for so much of my life. And, today I choose to just break that vicious cycle and, help others try to break them vicious cycles, because we got too many generations right now. We got too many kids. I'm talking about, I've been to funerals already, 11-year-old girls, 14-year-old kids, 12-year-old kids killing each other. You know what I'm saying? Senseless murder. And it's very sad. It's very heartbreaking. And, it drains a lot of your energy. But, I'm learning how to replenish myself, through prayer with God. My mother, she always taught me how to take care of people, but she never taught me how to take care of myself. So, that's something that I'm learning, how to do today. But I just wanted to catch everybody up on things, and why I've been absent for the past couple of weeks. But, the real thing that we're here for are the real everyday people, like my man, Jose Eliseo Salas. What's up with you, bro?
How you doing, my brother?
I'm good, bro, man. I'm happy to have you on my show, bro.
Glad to be here, brother.
Definitely, man. So let the people know a little bit about yourself, man. Who you are, where you from.
All right. My name is, as he said, Jose Eliseo Salas. I grew up in Southwest Michigan, or Southwest Detroit, Michigan. Live in Ecorse my whole life. Let's see. About 60 years ago, my grandfather, whose name was Jose Salas, moved here from Texas, and he worked hard his whole life. Bought my house that I currently live in. Had my father. And my father, whose name was also Jose Salas, grew up in Ecorse, was a man of the community. He loved helping people. He grew up, he had a loving mother and a father who wasn't always home. So he taught himself how to be a man. And along the way, he had a interesting life. He graduated from high school. He was a DJ. He went to art school in college. And he really just loved being around people, making people smile, improving the community around him every single day. And along the way, I guess actually when he was born, diabetes was in his genetics, it's in his body already. But as he got older, that kind of took a toll on his body. He ended up losing his vision, and he had a bunch of other health problems. And right around the same time I was born, so he decided to name me Jose Salas as well. And that was back in 1999. So around the time I was born, he had to figure out how to be a new man. He had to be a person who was now disabled all the time, and also had to be a father to raise me, which I'd have to say was, it's pretty admirable knowing that he woke up every single day and had to take care of me, but also take care of himself in ways that I can't even imagine. I mean, he was blind 3/4 of the way. He had all kinds of health issues with his diabetes, his kidney failing, his liver failing, stuff like that, walking issues. He had a lot of seizures and whatnot growing up. And so he did his thing, and he raised me as a young man along with my mother, who at the time was working very hard to take care of everybody in the household. She was 21 when she had me, and she was already doing great with her life, and I still have her, which I thank the Lord for every single day. And they raised me the best they could, from, I don't know, the day I was born till I was 7. I lived in my house in Ecorse. I grew up with him, my grandfather, my older sister, and my cousins who are like my brothers. We all grew up together.
How many siblings do you have?
I have one sister and then two cousins who they're my brothers. We grew up together. Their aunt passed back in 2016, and around that time, my younger cousin moved in with us, and we grew up together. But before that, my older cousin, whose name's Alberto Lopez, who was a professor at a college out in Philly, he lived with me growing up. He was like my older brother. You know, I'd sit there every day, and he'd come through from high school. And it's funny because my only memory from then really is him. He'd walk up and say "paralyzer" and just punch me in the thighs as hard as he could. You know, so from a young age, he was toughening me up, and I appreciate him for it because my life hasn't really been that easy in the last 22 years. But it's also been amazing at the same time, you know, because that's really how life works. At 7, my mom and my father separated, and I moved out to Flat Rock. I lived there in between there in Ecorse and Southwest at DHDC, which is an organization that my grandmother started 25 years ago. So I grew up in the youth program around kids of color, Hispanic, and black, and you know, every color that we had down in Southwest. She'd bring us all together. She'd show us different things, different teachings. She'd teach us lessons that none of us really had access to back then, because I mean, life is how life is in Detroit.
Listen, your grandmother is a very admirable woman. She has devoted her life to her community and just to people in general. And I tell you, that woman, you know, she never ceases, you know, to amaze me because, you know, even, you know, with all the years she's got invested in taking care of the community, she just continues to march to the beat of her own drum. She does not break her stride for nothing, and she is constantly and relentlessly pouring into the community, pouring into the organization, and so many people have so much respect for her because, you know, she's devoted her life, you know, to giving people and giving people, helping people in need, and no matter what, there's always the need for help in some form or another within our community, you know.
And
I'm proud to work with her and work for her. You know what I mean?
You know, I understand 100%, you know, and I'm proud to be her grandson on top of that, because that's a lot to live up to. You know, she's a very prominent person in our community. She helps those who can't help themselves, and she helps teach them how to help themselves. You know, at the very end of the day, a lot of people who grew up where I grew up don't have the tools necessary to figure out how to live a good and healthy lifestyle. I mean, it's always chaotic. It's always survival. It's always, I mean, like you said, needless murders all day long. Our children are dying. People aren't educated enough to figure out how to fix things that we, at our core, are fundamentally struggling with. You know what I mean? And every day I wake up lately, and it's just been really affecting me because my father taught me to love my community. He taught me to be a man, a good man. You know, and every day to wake up and try to be at least a little bit better than I was yesterday.
You know, I had the privilege of working with your father for a little bit before he ended up passing, man. So, you know, it was a privilege getting to know him. And even though, like you said, he struggled with, you know, his health issues and, you know, being blind and all that, man. But he still, bro, he didn't break his stride either, man. He would come in every day. He was dressed. Like, I used to think I was fly. That guy used to come in fly, matching, always sweet. You know, he, you know, very talented. He had, you know, he had charisma, you know what I'm saying? Yep. And he had a lot of connections, a lot of resources. He knew, you know, he knew how to get to the money. He knew how to make things happen. He knew how to make things shake. And even with all his health complications, bro, like, he definitely made an impact in the community, made an impact at the DHDC, and made an impact in this world, you know. And thanks to Detroit DJ Dan, after your father had passed away, he made a freestyle mixtape, you know, in the name of your father, and I got one of them too. So
I listen to it every day in my car.
Yep, definitely.
You know what I
man.
mean? Because, I mean, for a long time, he was a DJ. He loved music. He loved making people smile and seeing them dance, you know. And I know that after he had lost his vision and started going through what he was going through, that he kind of lost that part of him, but he started painting a lot more. He was a really prominent artist as well. When I was growing up, going outside, play basketball with the homies, hanging out on the street, you know, going to the gas station, coming in and out of the house, and he'd always be there at my dining room table, singing, painting, listening to music, you know. And it's crazy because I can't paint, man. You know, I could barely draw a stick figure, but this guy was amazing. And I brought some of his art with me. just to show the people
That's
you know,
dope.
how it looks. So he used to draw stuff like this, but he only had like 85% of his vision, you know. So it's really
Did you ever ask him what they meant?
no, I never really did, because at the end of the day, what he was going through all the time, I kind of felt distant myself, you know, because back then I didn't really understand emotions. I didn't understand how to connect with people as much as I wanted to, because I was young. And growing up, he was struggling a lot. So he wasn't always there to teach me the necessary things that I needed to know, which isn't bad. You know, he taught me enough for me to be able to become my own man every single day of my life. But between him and my mother, they did a great job, but there are still some lessons I missed out on. So I wasn't able to really emotionally connect with him growing up as much as I wish I could now. You know what I mean? Have those conversations I wish we could have had. But, like, I mean, that's just how life is, you know? Death is a part of life every single day. And I grew up, and he was always on the verge of almost dying. You know, he'd go to the hospital. I wasn't sure if he was going to come out. I spent days and days in hospitals growing up with my mother and my sister and my grandfather. You know, so it was a struggle trying to cope with that at a young age, from the day I was born till I was 20. You know what I mean?
Because even though he was there was still like a sense of absence. You know what
exactly,
I'm
you know.
And then activity-wise, you know, wanting to, you know, just be active.
Exactly, you know, I couldn't go outside and play catch with him. You know, he couldn't show me how to change the oil on my car. He couldn't show me, you know, regular things that everyday men do, because he always had. I mean, at the end of the day, he got it done because he always had a guy to call, which is another way of getting shit done that I still strive to get to as well. And he always had a guy for something, but that's only because he couldn't do it himself with his own hands, you know. Before he had me, he had lowriders, he had all kinds of stuff. He was known as Jose with the Red Cavalier. It was all, like you said, he was all pimped out all the time. He had all the sounds. He used to work on his own cars all day long, but, I mean, he lost a piece of that. And I understand, you know, and I understand that was hard. And I'm grateful that he stuck around long enough to teach me and show me how to be a man. Because when I was 20, when he passed, I had just figured out, I don't know, how to really think for myself. You know what I mean? Growing up, I had his hand on my shoulder all day long. He dubbed me his seeing eye monkey for a long time, because that's how our relationship was, because he didn't have eyes and I did. So he relied on me a lot.
You know, that's crazy, because you know, when I was in prison, I used to always tell my family and friends, like, please send me pictures. Let me live through your eyes, you know. And, you know, so even though at the time he was blind, there was a point in time where he did used to be able to see. You know what I'm saying? So he at least, even when he lost his vision, he still had his imagination, because he had already seen life, you know what I'm saying, in its full capacity at some point, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and he lived a life that I never did, you know, and he's seen things that I never seen through eyes I'll never have. And it's hard to kind of try to live up to that, you know, because when he passed, he left behind my house, my grandfather, whose health was declining in me, and I was 20, but I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, I was lazy my whole life. I dropped out of high school because I was lazy, but I mean, I smartened up. I went and got my GED because I knew that no matter what, I had to accomplish something to move forward with my life. You know.
Plus, I'm sure, I know your mom wasn't having it either. I know
Oh
she
no,
was like, "Duh, you better
nope.
get your shit together."
My mom, you know how my mom is.
Shout out to Nita, what up, though? I know she went upside your head once or twice.
You know I love you, Ma.
She's still a hard worker too, bro. Every
She
time
sure
I
is.
see her, bro, she's going to or coming from. You know what I mean?
Always, you know, and
At the DHDC, that's how we get it, man. We stay in motion, baby.
all day long, you know what I'm saying? And that's a lot of the reason. I realized it the other day. I'm working, and I work hard every day, bro. I work 7 days a week. I have 2 jobs, you know. One of them.
I know I was just recently with you and your mother at what was that event?
It was the Roe versus Wade information gathering. So I was working with the Democratic Party of Michigan as an event planner.
You were there with David Sanchez.
Yes, sir. I was. Shout out to David Sanchez. You know, in the coalition, and we were just setting up to inform people what's going on. If you have questions, the Attorney State General is here to answer them, because what's going on right now is crazy. You know, 50 years of hard work and effort to protect basic human rights have just been overturned. And if you have questions, now's the time to ask them, you know, speak up. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we were there doing.
Yeah, that like whole thing just blew my mind just because, you know, we've come such a long ways. Even with me being absent for 17 years, when I came home, like I seen so much of the work that was done manifesting. You know, I'm actually seeing the results, the fruit of the labor that people have been fighting for all these years. And especially like now it's happening at a more rapid pace. So many more people are getting involved in criminal justice, you know, and we're evolving and changing, you know, laws, policies, procedures, rules, and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So when that came up, I was like, damn, that's like taking us, you know, a huge step backwards because first of all, I don't believe that no amount of man, not 1 man or 10 men, have the right to sit at a table and have a conversation pertaining to women's health and choices about what they do with their body. You know what I'm saying?
And I agree with you 100%.
You know, that women have to be at this table to be able to even, you know, have that conversation, period. So, you know, I just don't agree with that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, 100%.
Because even as we evolve in social work today, you know, the youth are very much included in this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're at the table. You know, they're helping us come up with the solutions because we don't have all the answers. You know what I mean? So if you're going to sit here and try to impose some type of law, you got to have the people who you're building these laws against or for at that table.
Because at the end of the day, in 50 years, when it really starts to take into effect, they're the ones who are going to be affected. The youth, you know, growing up, my grandmother always decided that the youth was the best way to start, you know, because at the end of the day, we're going to grow up and practice our teachings that we're taught as young people, young adults, every single day. You know, we do what we see, and also we have a passion, and it's our life's work to find that passion for every single person.
They trying to take away our free will. That is something that God has given us as humans
From the day we were born.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep, 100%.
The freedom of will.
Yep.
And you taking that away from humanity? You taking that away from God?
It doesn't even make sense.
You is?
You feel me? And it's crazy that we're still going through this kind of these kinds of events, you know, because we have come so far in our lives as humanity as a whole. You know, our country has developed to the point where segregation isn't a thing anymore. You know what I'm saying? We've gotten past all of these big hurdles every single day, every single decade. Hardworking people who decided one day that, hey, this is enough, stood up enough for us to be able to be where we are today. And slowly but surely they want to take that away from us. Things that we have grown up with, things that we live with every single day that are now being taken away from us, and they expect us to what? Just sit around and just let it happen? You know what I mean? Because like you said, we have free will, and this is what we want to do. We want things to be a certain way, and who are you to tell me that half of the humans in this country can't have basic human rights, basic health insurance, basic needs to get them through a big part of life, which is pregnancy? You know what I'm saying? I mean, how were they born?
And they should have our full support.
100%. I grew up with a mama. I got a sister. As soon as that happened, I thought, wow, my mother, the best person I know, the greatest woman that I know, just got half of her rights taken away from her. All of them.
Human rights.
Human rights that matter to every single person. And not too long before that, I had been working at a restaurant as a salad cook. You know, I didn't really know what I was doing in my life. My father passed 2 years ago, and I fell straight on my face, you know, because he was a crutch for me for a long time. He held me up. And I'm just starting to work through it. And I watched Biden had an inauguration, and I'm watching it while I'm working. And it dawned on me that a lot of my life is being dictated by people who are 6 decades older than me, who have been around long enough to see a life that isn't really here anymore. Mm-hmm. And I decided that has to change. And I know I'm young. I'm 22. I can't do it right now. But in order for me to want to do something about it, I have to stand up and start.
Right now.
You know what I'm saying? Because in 10 years, when I'm done working hard to achieve one goal, I can be where I wanted to be a decade ago to make the changes that I want to change. And I decided, you know what, I got to do something other than cook. I can't stand here on this line every day and make food. I love making food. I love it when people come back and say, hey, they said that salad was great. I've been a cook for 6 years. I come back and people are smiling, telling me my food's good, because that's what I love doing. I love putting passion into it and love and
Who
support.
taught you how to cook? Who got you into cooking?
So when I was 18, I had been in and out of dishwashing jobs, picking up, little side jobs I could, washing dishes, and also if I could, I'd get into cooking if the cooks would let me. I had a little bit extra time. Hey, can you show me a thing or two? And then 18, I just got my GED, and I needed a job, and I applied for a dishwasher, and I walked into a bar in Wyandotte, and the owner said, "You know what, man, you look like a cook." I was like, "Really?" And he was like, "Yeah." And so he gave me the job, and for the next year and a half, I worked there as a cook. It's called Captain's Bar. Shout out Captain's. And that's really how I started.
Are you still working at BJ's?
I am. I work there on the weekends.
Okay. Shout out to BJ's and my man Chris. He be whipping up over there.
Yep. So on the weekends I do that, but during the week I'm an assistant field director for a nonprofit called Working America. So it's a part of the AFL-CIO. So I'm a workers' rights portion. So we go out every day, we knock doors, we talk to people about issues. Like right now we're handling the housing crisis going on here in Michigan. So we go out there, we tell people about it, and we have a petition to help get money out of the hands of the government into the hands of families who need them. And we do all kinds of things like that. Healthcare, better wages, education for our children, stuff like that. We're the ones who go door to door, and we talk to people about it. We address it. Yep, exactly. We canvass. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I'm that guy who knocks on your door, and I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of people probably hate me, but I'm a friendly guy. I knock on your door, I have a good conversation with people, and it's another way of seeing life that I've never seen before. Because every day I'm knocking on somebody's door, and they open it. It's their home. This is their land. This is their safe place. And I'm an intruder, and I'm talking to them. So it's a different vibe from when you're in a restaurant. Understanding how these people live and how they feel about certain issues when I talk to them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
So I found this job back in May, and the pay was good, and I got in there after the first week. I decided, I don't want to just be a canvasser. I want to have a managing position.
Okay.
And 4 months later, I got promoted to assistant field director, so I now have that. My first salary, I'm in charge of people. I can do the work that I like doing the way I want to do it effectively in a way that I see fit, and I can also train others to do this job that is, it takes a certain someone to go door to door and talk to people every single day.
Absolutely, man. Shout out to my man Vaughn Arrington. He got Human Flyers business. We were in the joint together, locked up. We were upstate together. He got out, man, and that guy got his shit together, man. He was just a guest not long ago on here. Proud of him, happy, for him, and keep up the good work. But yeah, that's what he does. He owns like a canvassing organization.
Okay.
They're called Human Flyers. And,
Okay.
He works for the city. He does a lot of canvassing for he's doing his thing, man. I'm very happy for him.
Hey, yeah, shout out to him, man.
But that's important work, though. That's a lot of leg work. And you're right. It's not just anybody, because it's a lot of people who slam the door in your face.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like
no
on that
idea.
movie Friday when them two Jehovah's Witnesses went up there.
Yep. And sometimes in certain neighborhoods, it's worse, and it doesn't.
They don't want to hear that shit.
No, and it doesn't learn what community you're in. There are always people who don't want to hear that shit. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if I'm coming at them politely. It doesn't matter if I tell them why I'm here and why it's important. They still don't have the time to give me to do this. You know what I'm saying? So it takes.
Does that ever get discouraging for you?
Oh, of course.
Or you just accept that that's part of the business?
I have accepted that it's a part of the business. However, people's energy still affects you at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I knock on that door. They gave me a shitty response. Now I got to make sure that I don't drop my head down. So that way, in the next door could be somebody who wants to talk about issues in the community, who wants these problems addressed, who wants to put their voice out there, but they don't really necessarily know how. And I come, and they're just waiting for somebody like me to come by and say, hey, this is one way you could do it. This is one way you can help others around you, because we're all living in this together, side by side.
No, it's important to have members of the community, people like us, because, there's a lot of people in our community, they don't like to get mixed up, you know what I'm saying, in politics and, rules, regulations, policies, procedures, all that type of stuff. You know, people, you know, from our community, they're so used to struggle and accustomed to just getting it how you live that, you know, it doesn't matter, you know, if you're for or against them. They just going to keep moving forward one way or the other. Survival is what we do and what we know best, you know what I'm saying? But for me, it's like I don't want to just live the rest of my life just surviving, you know what I'm saying? Like, not only for myself, for my community, I want them to be able to live and live well and enjoy life. You know what I'm saying? I mean, learn from the struggles and things like that we go through, whether they're, you know, personal struggles, whether they're economical, you know, whether they're community or social or, you know, government struggles, whatever. Like, you know, we always made sure that we took care of ourselves and took care of our own. You know
what I'm saying? And I grew up very much the same way, and I still am living that way. No matter how much success I bring to myself, I still find myself in a position where it's just survival. You know what I'm saying? Every day making sure that I can eat. It was different 4 or 5 months ago when I was taking care of my grandfather who passed about a month ago. You know, I'd go days without eating because he had to eat before me, no matter what. You know what I'm saying? I was responsible for him because he couldn't help himself. And my father's gone now, and this is my responsibility. This house and him, and making sure that we can just stay afloat and survive was on me now. You know what I'm saying? And I took the work. That's the way life is. I wasn't gonna shy away from it.
But that's what family is about. Like everybody playing their part, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, traditionally, you know, the responsibility should be shared amongst everybody.
Right.
And, you know, when somebody passes away, or, you know, a lot of our pillars, a lot of our backbones of our families, they're all older now and they're passing away. And and it's our turn to pick up these torches, you know what I'm saying? And teach our kids and our cousins and, you know, and you know, be just different, do things different, but at the same time holding on to the traditions of our culture, of our family, you know,
way of life,
the things that kept us tight and kept us together, you know. And a lot of times a lot of them traditions pass on because nobody wants to pick up the torch and continue that and carry it on.
Exactly. You know, and I seen the torch, and it's and I think about it all the time. When I was about 16 or 17, I might have been 18, my father was sitting there in his room and he said, "Hey man, when are you going to be old enough so we can build a car together?" And then I didn't understand, you know. I was like, I am old enough, I could do it, but I wasn't ready. You know, I didn't have the eyes that I have now to be able to understand what that really meant. And the feelings he had behind it to even be able to ask me in the first place, you know, because he used to do that himself, but he couldn't do it no more. And he was hoping that he could live through me to do that again, and also teach me things along the way. And looking back on it now, you know, it still fucks me up every single day. You know, it's a struggle grieving a father who's no longer there, and then at the same time my grandfather who's no longer there, because my understanding of emotions is a little different than most people.
And I mean, these were two prominent male figures that were in your life, bro, that taught you everything that you know. You know what I'm saying? Who have contributed to your growth, your well-being, to your nurturing. You know, they were the examples. So, yeah, when they're not there anymore, you know, but you take what they taught you. You take what they gave you, and you continue on.
They taught me how to be a hardworking man. They taught me, my father taught me how to be a good man, and my grandfather made sure I had the work ethic to be able to live my life the way I needed to without having to pick up anything dirty, without having to live in the shadows, because that's not the way life should be lived. You know, I understand that at some point in time, survival is survival, but there's always a way to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And they taught me a certain way to live that I respect and I uphold every single day. You know?
How did you get along with your siblings growing up?
Well, my sister is a Leo, and I'm a Capricorn. And growing up, she was always the shining star of the family all the time. You know what I mean? You know how Selena is. Shout out to Selena. You know I love you. And it's just like I lived in her shadow a lot. So my confidence growing up wasn't really always there. That machismo that my father had was instilled in me, but I didn't know how to get it. I didn't know how to get to it. I didn't know how to show it, which I am starting to do now as a growing young man. And I mean, my cousin Al has always been a positive older brother figure for me. You know, when I had to lose weight because they were scared that I was going to get diabetes when I was 10, they put me in football. Me and him would run every day. He'd be the one to take me to the track down the street from my house. He was like, hey, we're going to do this together.
Do you have that in your genetics? Like,
it is in my genetics, but I do not have diabetes.
well, that's good, man.
Yep.
Good for
And
you,
and
bro.
I thank my mother for that because she didn't want that life for me.
Yeah,
Which it would have.
I know. I
And
can't imagine.
on both sides of my father's family, it came.
Yeah.
So it's in me somewhere. It's just
Yeah.
you know.
I need to take it easy. Like,
Oh, who you telling?
I went and got a checkup. Like, I'm good, but I'm not good. I'm like, I need to lose some damn weight because I've been eating good in a mug. You know what I'm saying? Since I've been home, I've been on a seafood diet. I
You
see
feel me?
food and I eat it.
Oh, I understand.
But
that,
I got to
brother.
slow down now because, you know, I'm built like a beanbag over
You
here.
feel me? Yeah, you.
So, I mean, you know, it's all good. I've been enjoying it. You know what I'm saying? I missed out on a lot, but now I need to get back to it and start taking care of myself.
Amen,
because,
brother.
you know, getting older and all that, man, you know,
Body ain't
you just
what
got to
used to
take it
be.
more serious and,
Yep.
you know, just take care of myself in general, bro. Like I said, man, my mother raised me to take care of people, but she never taught me how to really take care of myself. So, you know, at you know, the age I am today at 43, that's something that I'm learning how to do.
And
Because it's vital, bro. And in the line of work that I'm in, bro, like, you know, it requires a lot of time, a lot of energy. It triggers a lot of trauma from shit that, you know, I went through as a kid, dog. So the work is exhausting, bro. You know
Every
what I'm
day.
saying? So I have to become creative and find ways to be able to rest and you know, keep myself on track because, you know, there's a point in time where, you know, even depression sinks in on you, bro.
Oh, man.
From seeing so much sad stuff and, you know, just, you know, the work is endless, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Every day an
People are
uphill
always
battle.
in need.
Yep.
And, you know, like I said, you know, going out to, you know, to Seattle, Washington, you know, for a convention pertaining to juvenile justice, you know, trying to fight for the rights to abolish, you know, giving life sentences to juvenile lifers, and then coming home and, you know, you got 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old kids just killing each other, you know what I'm saying, and no value for life, you know what I'm saying, no consideration, I mean, over nothing, bro, you know what I mean? You know, even when you know, my little cousins, man, little Joseph, 14 years old, they just killed him. He over there on Homer and Mullane. And you know, that's the thing about ceasefire, bro. Like, they are always in full support of the families, bro. They go to the scene of the crime. They go to the vigil lightings, the balloon releases, the wakes, the funerals. You know what I'm saying? The hospital calls, like, you know, every aspect of support within the community, bro. Ceasefire is there. You know what I'm saying? And it's through the DHDC that I was able to be a part of that. But I'm telling you, bro, it has really been draining me mentally, bro. You know what I'm saying? At a capacity that I just was not prepared for. You know what I mean? Because this shit is constant, man. It's like living in a third world country right now, bro.
Yep.
We live in a bloodthirsty society.
Yep.
And the only answer to conflict right now is just murder, kill, shed blood, and, you know, and then just multiple people shot at one time, 5 to 8 people, you know, in the same day, 3 different episodes. You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, like,
It's unending,
it's
brother.
hectic. 1 minute we're celebrating, passing out backpacks to kids, and the next minute, you know, they're running to the scene, 5 people shot, 2 fatal. I mean, it's crazy, bro. It's a lot of work, man.
It
You
is,
know what I'm
and
saying?
you know, a lot of that is the reason that I want to do what I want to do with my life. You know, I'm about to go to law school soon because I want to be a person who's able to understand our laws, who is able to help our people in a way that they can't really help themselves. You know, because there's a lot of things that go on behind our backs without us seeing it, and not enough of us are standing up and using their voice and understanding that, you know, we can't just sit back and let things happen to us all the time. We can't just not use our vote. We can't just let life pass us by because we're still surviving every fucking day of our lives, because that's all we do. You know, we worry if we're going to eat tomorrow. Do I have enough gas to get to work? Do I have a job? Do I have enough money to feed my kids? Do I have enough money to get my baby formula, my diapers? Do I have enough money to live my life without worrying every single day about if I'm going to survive the next day?
I know, bro, and that's why, you know, so much of our community has been, you know, financially illiterate, is because we were never taught to save money or plan or prepare for the future because we were just trying to get through the fucking day. You know, we didn't know if we were gonna die today, tomorrow. We didn't even care about what tomorrow. We was just worried about getting through the day. That's how much stress, you know what I'm saying, that you know, we used to be under. And some of them, you know, some of our people still live like that.
I'd say most of them, man, because it's no matter how much better our lives, the quality of life in the U.S. gets, it's like we're still living in the same time over here. We're still struggling every day. Our
bro, they
communities.
just gave old girl 9 years, bro, in Russia.
Yeah, exactly.
What the fork?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That shit is wild as hell,
man.
bro.
And it's sad that even happened in the first place, because everything that's going on in the world, all these hardships, all the death, everything, you know, the economy being so fragile all day long. And
I feel like if Trump was our president, that shit wouldn't have happened that way, bro.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know, but I feel like it wouldn't have happened that way. But
it probably wouldn't have happened that way because him and Joe Biden are two completely different people.
I understand.
You know what I mean?
And I feel like they're using her as a pawn, and that's sad for her because, you know, she's got a bright future, bro. So I don't know what they're going to do, how they
She was out there making money.
But they need to come up with something, bro, you know, to get her back home and back to her family and back to business.
Amen, brother, because this shit's wild out here.
But for people who are not, you know, grateful for, you know, how we operate in our country, I'm not saying we're perfect or everything's right, but I'll tell you what, when you look at situations like that, you got to be grateful to be an American.
Because, I mean, at the end of the day, at least we have the choice to stand up and try to fix things.
Hell yeah. Some
people
don't even have them options, you know.
Some people don't get that choice.
When you think back about, you know, like Cuba, you know what I'm saying? And you know, anybody that ran under the iron fist of Fidel Castro, you know what I'm saying? You had to follow his lead, and if you didn't, they fed your ass to the sharks.
You know what I'm saying? And there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's just the way life was for all of them. And it's sad, you know, that. And I'm sure there are a lot of places that are still like that. Because, I mean, this is the real world. As nice as we like to make it, this world sucks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But it's people, bro. It's people.
Every day.
It's people, bro. Life is beautiful, bro. Life is what you make it, man.
Yes,
you know
sir.
what I'm saying? No matter what your situations or circumstances are, you have the ability to make them worse or you know, better or worse for yourself.
It all depends on the decisions you make, and that's a lot of the reasons why I'm here right now. You know, I could have made decisions that set me back even harder than what I was already set back. But I decided that enough was enough. You know, I lost my father. I lost my grandfather. You know, I went through all this extra hardship and bullshit that I felt was for no reason, but there was a purpose for it. All the suffering I've lived through, all of the pain, helped me see life through new eyes. Where I'm like, you know what? That's it. That's enough. Enough is enough. At some point, you have to stand up and fix your life and be accountable for the actions that you set in motion.
You know, for me, I just got tired of my own shit.
You feel me?
You know what I'm saying? I literally got tired of my own shit. I'm like, why do I keep fucking up?
Why?
Every time I try to go off and do some shit because I think I'm finna do something,
it ain't it.
Shit never work out for me, bro.
It ain't it, bro.
Always backfires on me, bro.
Yep.
And that's when we try to, you know, take things into our own hands just because we always think we know best. That's because we always, you know, feeding the flesh.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I don't even do that shit no more, bro. You know what I'm saying? I got to tap in with God first to make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yep.
If I'm supposed to, even if I have to suffer, I just want to make sure that it has purpose behind it. You
Amen, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Because I don't got time for this Mickey Mouse shit no more, bro. I done ruined a big part of my life and lives around me, but I'm righting my wrongs every day, and you know, I just don't want that to be my legacy, that I was just a fuck up. You know, I've always really been a good person. It's just my ties to the gangs, to the streets, my ideology of life. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have no relationship with God back then. I was just, it was all about the flesh. It was about the streets. It was about what people think, what they gonna say, what, you know, all that type of shit. Now I just feed the spirit, bro. I let God guide me, and I'll tell you what, even though I ain't got everything I want, I got everything I need, man. God take care of me, man.
Yes,
but
sir.
I'll tell you what, I'm working working on getting the shit I want, because I got a whole lot of shit, and I feel like I deserve it. You know what
Amen,
I'm
brother.
saying? For real.
Yep. And I feel like everybody as a human being also feels that way. We all have things we feel we deserve because we've gone through certain things that we're like, you know what, man, fuck all this, bro. You know what? I need that. I deserve that nice car. I went through all this shit. I got through it. I deserve this. I deserve that.
I mean, I've suffered. I've sacrificed. I break bread. I show love. I am that friend that takes his shirt off his back for you. You know what I mean? So,
Amen, brother.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't feel like nobody owes me nothing, but I feel like I deserve, you know what I'm saying, to live, a life of heaven on earth.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's that feeling that I also share with you that makes me want to get up every single day and work hard to make that reality with my own two hands. You know what I'm saying? To change things around me because I have the ability to reach out and do so. I grew up and I was always nervous. I always had bad anxiety. What if I'm going to fail? What if I'm going to fuck up again? Because like you said, I've always been a fuck up too. Fucked up all kinds of shit growing up. That's just the way you learn, though. You know what I mean? And you can't let that thought hold you back from reaching out and changing the things around you that you are able to change. Because once you change that, the thing just beyond that is within reach. You know what I'm saying? You take that one step, and the next step is right behind it. And that's just how life is supposed to work. It's up to us to make sure that we hold ourselves accountable enough to at least take those steps without falling down. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely, bro. I just, I live a purposeful life. You know?
Sir.
And that really comes from just living a righteous life. You know what I mean? Just doing my best to be the most understanding, to be the most patient.
Yes, sir.
To be the most humble. You know what I'm saying? Not because I'm perfect, not because I'm better, but that's because that's what life has taught me.
Yes, sir.
I have suffered a lot from childhood, adolescence, adulthood, and I don't want to continue to suffer unless there's a purpose in it, and I don't want to put anybody else through any suffering.
Amen.
You know what I mean?
I understand.
And I like to be a contributor now, but I also want to live the best of my ability too. I want to reach my full potential. You know what I'm saying? And I know if I die tomorrow, bro, that I did my best every day. Every day.
And that's all we can really hope to wake up and do, because life is life. Death's a part of life. I figured that out at a young age, I've been through a lot of suffering just like you have, and I'm half your age. I wake up every day and I make sure that suffering isn't for nothing because I went through it, and that shit sucked. But it's up to me to make sure that shit had a meaning. It's up to me to find that purpose in life that I so crave for every single day. Waking up and for me, it's helping people.
Absolutely.
And that was ingrained in me at a young age, growing up in DHCC with the grandmother that I had. I seen what she did. I seen the work that she did every single day. I lived the work that she did, and it at some point became a passion for me. A passion to reach out and help those who can't help themselves, to improve our community. That way we're not surviving no more, man. We're living, we're planning. Everybody's going to college. Everybody's got a trust fund. Everybody's got everything that you need, because that's how life should be.
And that's great, because it's a lot of people who don't take them positive turns in life. Like, they resent their suffering. They resent their life, and hurt people.
Exactly.
Victims become victimizers, bro. Yep. And, so I thank God that I didn't grow bitter. I thank God that I didn't become, vengeful, or just, feel like life owed me something or society owed me something. Like, once I grew up, because, a lot of times when you just can't catch a break and shit go wrong, you want to blame the whole world. It was my mom, it was my dad, it was my community, it was the prosecutor, it was the officer, it was the lawyer, it was the snitch, it was this person and that person. At this
point, it's the universe against me.
At the end of the day, I said, you know what, bro? It's all me. It's all me. It's all me. I chose to do that. I chose to be there. I chose to do this and that. And that's when I started to regain my power. And that's when I started to obtain knowledge of of self.
Yep.
And I realized how much power I had. And then
Yep.
I realized how much power I used to relinquish
Yep.
because of my ignorance and because of my misguided loyalty. You know what I'm saying? Because of my
Amen.
heart.
Yep.
There was a point in time where I resented my own heart. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? But I had to learn how to love myself and respect myself all over again. You know?
Just to get where we are today, you know what I'm saying? And I went through much of the same thing. You know, resenting my life, mad at my father for leaving too soon, you know, going through life the way I went through and him not telling me, hey, stop doing that. You know what I'm saying? Because I grew up, I did whatever I wanted growing up. Because, I mean, the way I thought was, who's going to stop me? Nobody. He's a sick old man. I'm me. I'm young. I'm a young buck. I'm out here. You know what I'm saying?
But you carry on his legacy.
Amen.
He lives through you.
Yes, sir.
You know
We
what
share
I'm
the
saying?
same name along with his father before him. You know, and my grandfather figured out the way to live on was to, you know, give him your same name, live through him. You know what I'm saying? Along the way, Eliseo Salas is still out there. He's still changing life every single day. He's still walking this earth. You know,
when I had my sons, man, I you know, I didn't know because I'm a junior, you know, and you know, initially I was gonna name my sons after me as well, but I wanted them to have their own independence. They already gonna have my last name. You know, you're already gonna be a Niño, so you tied in already.
Already off
But
rip.
I just wanted their names to mean something, you know, and I wanted it to be independent. I didn't want them to ever feel like they had to be in my shadows, you know what I'm saying? But I felt like them having my last name was enough for my legacy to be carried on through them. You know what I mean?
And that's understandable, but you know, my perspective is a little different. You know, I live to live up to my name. The great father that I had, the great grandfather that I had, the things that they did for those around them, and understanding that at the end of the day, it's up to me now.
And it comes with a lot of responsibility.
Yes, sir, it does.
Because you got big shoes to fill.
Yes, sir, I do.
You know, and for your dad, you know, I respect him because he had all kinds of shit against him, bro, and he still kept it pushing. You know
He still stayed positive every single day of his life. You know what I'm saying? And I was there to see when he wasn't, but that doesn't really matter anymore because what matters is that he still had enough light in him to survive every single day that he did and to push forward to make sure that I was able to at least stand up on my own 2 feet.
What are some of the things, life skills that your mother has taught you that you're able to apply today?
Oh.
Because your mother is a tough cookie.
She
You know
gave
what I'm
me my mother gave me the brain that I have and the mindset that I have. She has allowed me to see things through a different light because my mother is the most intelligent person I've ever met. You know what I mean? And she's so strong and independent, and she raised me and my sister the best that she could with everything that she had to be responsible enough to make sure that me and her were okay. You know,
well, look at who her mother is. You know
what I'm saying?
So
you know what I'm saying?
Of course, it's
the
in
apple
blood.
doesn't fall far from the tree.
Yeah,
you know, great women are great women at the end of the day, and my mother is one of them. And she has shown me how to be a better man through the eyes of a woman because I grew up with women. You know what I'm saying? I understand how they think. I can't even say that. I can't even say that I understand how a woman thinks because I'm a man, but I have a piece of it, and I can put it together, and I can make two and two.
But you can be raised to respect
exactly
and appreciate women at a whole nother level.
At a whole nother level, you know.
Me, you know, I was raised by a single mother, but she played the role of the mother, the father. She always taught me about, you know, being respectful towards women, what to expect, how to treat them, how to talk to them, you know. And, you know, I was young, bro. I lived through my uncles and my cousins and, you know, their values and their ideology, which were not the greatest, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But, you know, I was a product of my environment, but my mother was the balance, though, you know.
Yes,
and
sir.
I've always been
100%.
respectful towards my elders. You know, I always felt like, you know, a protector over, you know, our youth, our children. And, you know, growing now, even as a man, you know, growing from a boy to a man, going through that transition and having that kind of respect and, you know, even the relationship with my wife, like, I'm learning a lot about, you know, being understanding, being patient, being tolerant with women in general, and then understanding what it requires to even be a woman, bro. Like, I'm so glad that I'm a man because
man, who you telling?
women put up with a lot of shit. They got to deal with a lot of shit. They first of all, they give birth. That's something a man can't do.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? They go through monthly cycles. They get cramps. I mean, they go through shit that men don't have to go through, bro. So
Every
I
single
respect
day.
the shit out of
Yes,
women,
sir.
bro. They are, to be treated with dignity, with respect, with love. You know what
They're
I'm saying?
to be held up on a pedestal because they are
They're sacred,
the beginning
bro.
of our life. Yes, they are sacred.
That's
And
that's,
I grew up surrounded by women. I had my mother, I had my grandmother, I had my sister, and my 4 cousins who were all females. You know what I'm saying? So here I am, the only grandson, the only boy in the family, I was surrounded by women all day long. So I developed an appreciation for women and understanding that their cycles aren't just they're beautiful. It's a way of life. It's a way to respect life and understand that they go through something that I don't go through. So because they go through that, I need to make sure that I stand up. I need to make sure that I uphold my end so they can go through what they have to go through in peace. Because at the end of the day, that's all I can really do. It's not like I can give them my body. It doesn't work that way. You know what I'm saying?
Because there are people who believe that it is impossible for a woman to raise a boy to be a man. But the difference is that my mother didn't raise me to be a good man. My mother raised me to be a good person.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? And, so when you have somebody who raises you from that perspective, then that means that you have a universal type of teaching of love, of understanding, you know what I'm saying? Of Mother Earth, Father Sky, the good, the bad, the ugly, men, women, nature, the cycles of life, birth, death, and how it all coincides, when we talk about the heat, the cold, the water, just everything, bro. Like, we are connected to all the elements. We are made up of all the elements.
I mean, we are stardust. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we rose from the dust, and to the dust we shall return. You know what I'm saying? And all we can really do is make sure that those who we leave behind are prepared enough to live without us. That way, that backbone that they lose, I mean, they already got a new one ready to go. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that my father gave me. He passed the torch to me that I didn't really fully understand when he was gone. But when I lost my grandfather, I kind of understood that even with this great loss, I'm still able to stand up. I'm still able to keep on pushing forward because everything they went through isn't for nothing. All their hard work and their effort isn't just hardships that will just be hardships. I will make fruit of them. You know what I'm saying? I will make sure that their life had meaning by living the best life that I can live and helping the people that I can help within my reach.
Ain't no doubt about it, bro. That's dope, man.
And that's just how I wake up and choose to live life every day. I wake up and choose that today is going to be a little bit better than yesterday, not only for me, but for those around me. And
you have to choose that every day. I was telling people the other day, like, you have to choose God every single day. Excuse me. You have to choose peace every day.
Every day.
The devil don't take no breaks.
No,
he do
not.
Saying? He work overtime. He come through every form. You know what I'm saying? He come sweet. He come pretty. He come in every form, bro. Of what do you call it? God dang.
He makes sure.
Seduction.
Yeah, there you go.
The devil will seduce you with things. Money.
And you won't even notice.
Money and just, you know what I'm saying? He'll even try to tie into what you got going on.
It doesn't matter if you're having a great day because it only takes one moment for you to look over and that negative thought to enter your head. You know what I'm saying? Because I could have a great day. I had just got promoted. I had just got my salary. I was in charge. It was my first day walking in there. I felt great. I'm a supervisor now. I did it. I accomplished what I came here to accomplish, and now it's time to move forward. And at the end of the day, I'm sitting there, and I looked up at the sky, and for some reason, my old man popped into my head. And that changed my attitude from being great to negative enough for others to notice around me. And that's all it really takes is one moment for you to make a wrong decision, to understand that.
And not only that, you could be around people who can make the wrong decision for you. You know what I'm saying?
Guilty by association, man.
If you don't know what to do with your life, somebody else will. So it's important to be mindful of the people you got around you. because their baggage will become your baggage.
Yes, sir.
Their weakness can become your weakness.
Easy.
The same way that their strength and their knowledge and intelligence can become yours as well. But sometimes when you put yourself in a position or you let other people drive your car, you know what I'm saying? You never know what direction or what they're going through, man. That's why it's important to be mindful of the people you got around you, because they will make mistakes that you will have to pay for.
Yes, sir. And,
know what I mean?
living life has taught me to make sure that I listen to that compass inside me. You know what I'm saying? Listen to my intuition, because at the end of the day, it's usually never wrong. You know, there might be instances where I misread it, but if you listen to yourself and you listen to your heart and you make the conscious decision with your mind to listen to it, then you should usually be okay.
Ain't no doubt, man. I always try to teach the kids about intuition.
Yes.
Pay attention, listen to it, get in tune with it, tap into it, get familiar with it, obey it.
Yep.
Because I swear, bro, I don't know how many times I just got a gut feeling or got that in, but ignored it or just suppressed it.
And
or
then here we are.
And then, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, you have instincts for a reason. You know what I mean? You got your angels, you got God, you got the universe telling you, stop, no, and don't. But
Or yes, do, and go.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And it works in small and funny ways, because here we are every day living life the way we do. And I decide that I'm going to wear the green shirt. And lo and behold, later on that day, something happens where it's like, yep, I'm glad I wore this. Because, like, I don't know, I just woke up, decided, hey, that's what I'm going to wear. I decided, hey, I'm going to take the right route instead of the left route, because, I don't know.
It's about mindfulness.
Yep. Understanding your
People
your
live
surroundings.
life every day absent-minded, just a robot. I'm just going to live my life following this person or that person.
Yep.
I'll just follow their lead. And you don't know where they're taking you. You know what I'm saying? You're just following them because you ain't got no damn sense of direction yourself. Or you do, you just don't want to obey it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And at the end of the day, that could really fuck you over sometimes. Sometimes you can get out of it, but other times you'll find yourself in a hole that's already dug.
No doubt about it, man.
And it's up to you to figure out how you're going to get out of it, and that's a whole other beast in general.
So listen, bro, what's the future looking like for you, bro? Give me a goal or two you working on before we close this thing out.
Let's see. So my 10-year goal, I want to be done with law school. I want to be a lawmaker. I plan on being a politician one day, but that's the next step. So for now, my next goal is getting my own apartment and going to school. Preparing myself to start this journey that I see for myself and that I want to accomplish. So going to school, man, is the next big thing, because education is really important, and I neglected it for a long time growing up. I dropped out of high school because I was lazy. I went back and got my GED, but that doesn't change the fact that I was lazy before, and I missed out on all this knowledge that's priceless.
Well, brother, I wish you well in everything that you do. I think you're headed in the right direction. You got mad support. You got mad positive people around you, and I just feel like life is what you make it, bro.
Yes, sir. Amen.
So as long as you stay tapped in with those who have your best interests at heart, bro, you're gonna have a bright future. If there's anything I can do to help you or guide you or plug you into to contribute to your well-being, bro, all you got to do is holler at me, man.
Oh, any day, brother. I appreciate your support all day long.
I want to thank everybody for tapping in. Shout out to my man Brian at Legal Aliens Podcast. Check him out. You guys are hilarious. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, man. I appreciate y'all. Shout out to LA Landscaping, Babe Cave Downriver. What up, sis? Guys Pizza. All the family, friends, loved ones, everybody doing their thing. Love y'all. Support y'all, man. And I'll see you next week at 9 o'clock.